You have been walking through your days as though something essential is missing, as though the next step requires more proof, more certainty, more resources, more signs, but the truth that has been whispered again and again is that everything you think you are waiting for has already been prepared for you. You keep ignoring the call, as though the divine voice will change its tone or message with repetition, but it doesn't need to. What has been finished is finished, what has been made ready is waiting, and the only real delay is in your willingness to see and step into it. You look at your circumstances and interpret them as unfinished, incomplete, not yet enough. You say to yourself that you need to prepare more, to become more worthy, to earn it, to fix yourself before you step into it. But God is saying to you, stop ignoring this. The table is already set, the door is already unlocked, the path is already cleared. The hesitation is in you, not in heaven's design. It is so hard for you to believe that provision could come before need, that grace could be extended before mistake, that destiny could be prepared before birth. Yet that is the reality. Before you were formed, your days were written. Before you asked, the answer was crafted. Before you searched, the treasure was hidden in a place you would be guided to. The struggle is not that the blessing is absent, the struggle is that you keep walking past it because it doesn't look the way you imagined, or because you cannot believe that something so freely given could actually belong to you. God keeps saying, look again. Stop ignoring this. The provision is here. The peace is here. The joy is here. The purpose is here. You are not required to manufacture it, only to step into it. And yet, you keep postponing. You keep waiting for a perfect moment, a perfect confirmation, a perfect sign. You keep rehearsing in your mind all the reasons why you're not ready, all the ways it could go wrong, all the things you might lose. But God is saying, why are you still ignoring the truth? Why do you keep clinging to fear when faith is waiting? Why do you insist on carrying your own burdens when they have already been lifted? It is not that you are meant to suffer longer, or to prove yourself more harshly, or to earn what is already given. You are meant to wake up and realize that the field has already been planted, the harvest has already ripened, and all that remains is for you to step out and gather. You think your journey has been only wandering, but the wandering has already led you into the very land you prayed for. You think you are still preparing, but the preparation was never about you becoming worthy, it was about you learning to see. And what you must now see is that everything is ready. The very things you thought were delays were actually alignments. The very obstacles you cursed were actually protection steering you toward the prepared place. The very disappointments you mourned were actually redirections so that you would not settle in a place too small for what was prepared for you. You thought it was loss, but it was preservation. You thought it was emptiness, but it was space being cleared. You thought it was rejection, but it was redirection toward what was already waiting. Still, you hesitate. Still, you ignore. Still, You stand at the threshold as though you are not allowed to enter. And God says, "Child, how many more signs do you need? How many more reassurances must I give? How many times must I repeat that what you are praying for is already answered? Do you not see how doors that should have been shut have opened? Do you not see how paths that should have been blocked have been cleared? Do you not see how strength came to you in moments you thought you could not continue? Do you not see how even in darkness, provision was near? You think you are waiting for me, but I have already finished my work. I am waiting for you to trust. And when you begin to trust, when you take the step, you will discover that what looked like emptiness is fullness, what looked like silence is song, what looked like the end is beginning. You will discover that you were never forsaken, never abandoned, never forgotten. You will see that heaven has been aligning everything, arranging everything, preparing everything with such detail and care that even the smallest moments of your life were woven into a tapestry beyond your comprehension. What you call coincidence is preparation. What you call accident is alignment. What you call delay is timing. Everything has been orchestrated, everything has been prepared, and the only question is whether you will keep ignoring it or finally open your eyes to see. So many times you say you are waiting on God, but so often God is waiting on you. You say you are waiting for clarity, but clarity often comes after obedience. You say you are waiting for strength, but strength comes as you step out, not before. You say you are waiting for peace, but peace comes when you trust, not when you control. And all the while, God whispers, "Why do you still ignore me? Why do you not believe that I have gone before you? Why do you not believe that the table is already set, the house is already built, the harvest is already gathered? I am not preparing to bless you, I have already blessed you. I am not preparing to provide, I have already provided. I am not preparing to call you, I have already called you. Everything is ready. You are the one still standing outside the door, too hesitant to walk in. Imagine a feast prepared, every dish placed perfectly, every chair waiting, the music already playing softly in the background, and yet the invited guest stands outside, convinced the invitation must have been for someone else. That is what you are doing when you doubt. That is what you are doing when you wait for another sign. That is what you are doing when you tell yourself you are not enough. And God says, "Enough. Stop ignoring what I have done. Stop pretending you are disqualified when I have already qualified you. Stop rehearsing your failures when I have already redeemed them. Stop delaying what is ready. Everything is prepared, and the only missing piece is your willingness to believe and enter in." The truth is, the preparation was never for me, it was for you. I needed you to see your own weakness so you would know the strength was mine. I needed you to face emptiness so you would recognize fullness as a gift, not an achievement. I needed you to feel thirst so you would know living water when it touched your lips. But now you know. Now you have seen enough. Now you must step in. And still you hesitate. Still you doubt. Still you say, maybe tomorrow, maybe later, maybe when I am ready. But you are ready, because I have made you ready. The preparation is complete. You may ask, how can I know it is truly ready? Look back. Look at the countless ways you were sustained when you should have fallen. Look at the countless times you were carried when you could not walk. Look at the wisdom that came from pain, the strength that came from weakness, the clarity that came from confusion. None of that was wasted. None of that was random. Every moment was preparation, not punishment. Every step was leading you here, to this threshold, to this moment when you would finally be able to see that what you longed for was already waiting. And so the question becomes, will you keep ignoring this? Will you keep standing outside, waiting for what is already given? Will you keep convincing yourself that it cannot be this simple, that it cannot be this close, that it cannot be this free? Or will you finally believe that the Creator of heaven and earth could actually be telling you the truth, that everything is already prepared? You see, the beauty of divine preparation is that it doesn't depend on your perfection. It doesn't collapse under your mistakes. It doesn't vanish when you hesitate. It waits. The blessing waits. The promise waits. The provision waits. But it does not wait forever, not because it is withdrawn, but because your heart grows weary of resisting. Do not let weariness steal from you what has been freely given. Do not let doubt blind you to what has been set before you. Do not let fear keep you locked outside the banquet hall when your name is already written on the invitation. You think you must strive more, but the striving is what keeps you blind. You think you must deserve it more, but grace is never deserved. You think you must perfect yourself, but perfection was never required. What is required is surrender, the humility to believe that you have been loved and chosen and prepared for all along. And in that surrender, you will see it, the doors already open, the provision already flowing, the peace already present, the joy already near. You will wonder why you waited so long, why you ignored the voice, why you doubted the promise. And even then, God will smile and say, I was with you the whole time, preparing the way, waiting for you to believe. So stop ignoring this. Stop treating it as though it were far off. Stop postponing the step, the trust, the surrender. Everything is already prepared. The life you were meant to live, the peace you were meant to carry, the love you were meant to give and receive, the calling you were meant to walk in, all of it is ready. The only question is whether you will open your eyes and step into it. God has said it. God has prepared it. And God is waiting for you to finally stop ignoring and start living in what has been prepared from the very beginning. And perhaps the reason you keep ignoring what has already been prepared is because deep down you fear it might be taken away. You worry that if you embrace the blessing, it will vanish. If you trust the promise, it will disappoint. If you step into the calling, you will fail. But hear this: what God prepares is eternal, unshakable, and secure. The gifts of heaven are not fragile. They are not subject to the rise and fall of your emotions or the shifting sands of circumstance. They are rooted in a foundation that cannot be moved. When God prepares something, it cannot be undone by your weakness, by the opinions of others, or by the storms of life. The preparation is complete, the work is finished, and it is not your grip that secures it but His. Yet, still, you cling to what is familiar, even when it hurts. You hold on to patterns that exhaust you because at least you know them. You hesitate to step into freedom because bondage feels predictable. You cling to scarcity because abundance feels unbelievable. You resist love because rejection feels safer, easier to control. But God is saying, do you not see that all of this has already been undone? The chains were broken long before you realized you were bound. The provision was released long before you recognized the hunger. The healing was spoken long before you felt the wound. Everything you need is already waiting, and the only thing left is for you to stop ignoring what is already yours. The preparation has not only been external but internal. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your future joy. Every disappointment you faced carved space in your heart to receive a deeper fulfillment. Every wilderness you walked through trained your eyes to recognize the oasis when you arrive. You are not the same person who first began to pray for this. You have been shaped, molded, humbled, strengthened, and now you are prepared to handle what has always been waiting. What would have overwhelmed you years ago will now sustain you. What would have destroyed you then will now become the very platform from which you rise. That is why the timing matters, not because God was unprepared, but because He was preparing you. And still, you ask, is it really time? Could it really be true that I can step into this now? What if I miss here? What if I step wrongly? But do you not see that even your missteps have been used to guide you here? Do you not see that every wrong turn became part of the right path? Do you not see that your life is not a fragile puzzle that can be ruined by one mistake, but a tapestry where even the broken threads are woven into beauty? Why then do you fear? Why then do you hesitate? Why then do you ignore the open door? God says, you cannot ruin what I have already finished. You cannot undo what I have already prepared. You cannot disqualify yourself from what was never based on your qualification to begin with. This is not about you striving harder. This is not about you figuring it all out. This is about you trusting enough to step forward. The table has been set. The feast is ready. The invitation has been sent. You are the one still standing outside, telling yourself it cannot be for you. But it is for you. It has always been for you. It was prepared with your name written on it long before you were even aware of your need. Stop ignoring the open invitation. Stop circling the same fears. Stop doubting the sincerity of the promise. The one who prepared it for you is not a liar. The one who called you is faithful. The one who began the work is the one who finishes it. You tell yourself you are not ready, but readiness is not the requirement, willingness is. You tell yourself you need to see more clearly, but often sight comes after stepping. You tell yourself you need to be stronger, but strength comes as you walk. You keep waiting for what will only arrive after obedience. And God says, step now, trust now, move now. Everything is already prepared, and you will see it only as you step into it. Do not ignore the tug on your heart, the nudge in your spirit, the quiet insistence that it is time. That is not wishful thinking, that is the echo of a prepared destiny calling your name. Think of all the times you thought you could not survive, yet you did. Think of all the times you thought the story was over, yet a new chapter began. Think of all the times you thought the loss was the end, yet something greater came. That is the evidence. That is the proof. You are still here not because you stumbled into survival, but because you were being carried into preparation. Every breath you take now is a testimony that heaven has been working behind the scenes, weaving every fragment of your story into something whole. Stop ignoring the evidence. Stop telling yourself it was luck. Stop reducing the divine orchestration of your life into random chance. It was prepared. It was aligned. It was designed. And now here you are, standing at the doorway. The banquet is not a future hope but a present reality. The blessing is not someday but today. The preparation is not in progress but complete. Will you step in? Will you finally believe? Will you stop ignoring what has been whispered into your soul again and again? The choice is yours, but the preparation is already done. You cannot add to it, you cannot diminish it, you cannot delay it into non-existence. You can only accept or ignore. And the voice keeps calling, child, why do you ignore what I have placed before you? Why do you live as though you are lacking when you are already supplied? Why do you live as though you are abandoned when you are already embraced? Why do you live as though you are lost when the way has already been made? The truth is, the blessing is not only about you. What has been prepared for you overflows into others. Your provision becomes someone else's encouragement. Your peace becomes someone else's refuge. Your testimony becomes someone else's map. If you keep ignoring what is prepared for you, you are not only delaying your joy, you are withholding ripples of grace meant to flow through your life into the lives of others. This is why the call persists. This is why the whisper does not fade. This is why the invitation keeps returning to you, day after day, night after night. Because your yes unlocks more than just your story, it unlocks a cascade of prepared blessings through you. So hear it again, not as rebuke but as love. You are still ignoring this? Everything is already prepared for you. The words are not meant to condemn but to awaken, to shake you gently from the sleep of hesitation, to remind you that the waiting is over, the time is now. The door is not locked, it is open. The way is not hidden, it is clear. The feast is not being cooked, it is already served. The question is not whether it is ready, but whether you are willing to stop ignoring what is ready. And so, once again, the voice rises in your spirit, quiet but undeniable. You are still ignoring this? Everything is already prepared for you. It does not matter how many times you have walked past the open door, it remains open. It does not matter how many times you have said, "Not yet," the preparation is still waiting. It does not matter how many times you doubted, resisted, delayed, or convinced yourself you were not enough, what has been prepared has not been taken away. Grace does not expire. Love does not run out. Destiny does not evaporate. What is prepared remains prepared, as steady and certain as the sun that rises each morning regardless of whether you notice it. You have asked, "How can I trust this? How can I know for sure?" And the answer is in the very breath you are taking now. Life itself is proof. The fact that you endured what should have broken you is proof. The strength you never thought you had, the wisdom you never imagined you would gain, the compassion you never expected to carry, these are all proof. You think you are empty, but your scars hold stories, your tears hold lessons, your journey holds treasures that were being placed inside you all along. You are not arriving empty-handed, you are arriving equipped. Every season that felt wasted has been redeemed in preparation. Every valley you crossed added weight to your soul so you would stand firm on the mountain. Every night you wept seated joy for the morning you are about to enter. And even now, as you wrestle with doubt, heaven is not frustrated with you. Heaven is patient. Heaven is kind. Heaven keeps inviting, keeps drawing, keeps preparing. You imagine that your hesitation might cause everything to collapse, but that is not how divine preparation works. The promise does not fade because you stumble. The provision does not vanish because you waver. The blessing does not withdraw because you struggle to believe. All of it remains, steady and certain, until you are ready to reach out your hands and take what has been waiting. The real question is, how long will you continue to tell yourself it cannot be real? How long will you convince yourself that it is too much, too good, too undeserved? How long will you stay outside of a home that was built for you? The voice of God is not accusing but pleading. Do not live in lack when abundance is prepared. Do not live in fear when peace is prepared. Do not live in confusion when clarity is prepared. Do not live in shame when forgiveness is prepared. Do not live in despair when joy is prepared. Every place in your life where you still feel lacking, every wound that still aches, every longing that still burns, there is already a prepared answer waiting. You do not need to create it. You do not need to fight for it. You only need to stop ignoring it. Perhaps you are afraid because you think receiving what has been prepared will require you to let go of what you cling to so tightly, your control, your pride, your familiar patterns. Yes, some things will fall away, but they are the very things that have been keeping you from rest. The letting go is not loss, it is freedom. The surrender is not punishment, it is release. What you think is sacrifice is actually the doorway into the fullness you crave. You are not being asked to give up what matters, but to lay down what has been crushing you. You are not being asked to leave behind love, but to leave behind fear. You are not being asked to lose yourself, but to finally discover your truest self. You wonder if stepping into what is prepared means the end of your striving, and yes, it does. It means the end of living as though everything depends on you. It means the end of carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. It means the end of trying to earn what has already been given. But it is also the beginning of joy. It is the beginning of walking lightly, freely, securely. It is the beginning of finally breathing without fear that the air will run out. It is the beginning of living in rhythm with grace instead of against it. Stop ignoring the signs. Stop calling them coincidences. Stop brushing off the repeated reminders. How many times must the same phrase echo in your spirit before you accept that it is real? How many times must a door open before you walk through it? How many times must you be carried before you admit you are not alone? The repetition is not accident, it is mercy. God keeps saying the same thing because He knows you still doubt, and He refuses to give up on you. If you needed only one whisper, He would have spoken once. But He knows you need 10, 100, 1,000, so He keeps speaking, keeps reminding, keeps preparing. That is not because you are slow, but because His love is relentless. Think of it this way: if everything is already prepared, then every fear you carry is already answered. If everything is already prepared, then every need you have is already supplied. If everything is already prepared, then every battle you face is already won. You are not walking toward uncertainty, you are walking toward certainty. You are not reaching into the unknown, you are reaching into what has been known from the beginning. You are not stepping into emptiness, you are stepping into fullness. And yet, if you keep ignoring this, you will keep living as though you are lacking, as though you are abandoned, as though you are on your own. But you are not on your own. You never have been. Every step, every turn, every stumble, every pause, God has been there, weaving it together, preparing the way, making sure that when you finally saw, when you finally believed, when you finally stopped ignoring, you would discover that everything you need was already there. Not almost there. Not on its way. Already there. Already finished. Already waiting. So here is the moment: will you keep ignoring or will you step in? Will you keep circling the wilderness, or will you cross into the land already flowing with milk and honey? Will you keep replaying old fears, or will you walk into the peace that has been waiting? Will you keep telling yourself you are not worthy, or will you believe the one who calls you chosen? The decision is not about worthiness, it is about willingness. Not about earning, but about accepting. Not about striving, but about trusting.